about 60 eco-villages and different locations. And it's a big family with eco activist people and permaculture people who want to live in more sustainable future. And now we only in start to work with regenerative communities and with Web3 communities, and we start to work with some crypto rounds. And now we study how it works and how to be part of a big regenerative family. And of course, our friends, it's SolarPunk community, and now we want to understanding how to be a SolarPunk eco villages. Yeah, and I happy to be to work with Guido and Marcus and a lot of different projects. They start to communicate with us, and thank you for everyone for your support. And let's start. Let's grow together. Yeah. And I pass to Guido maybe to continue. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Maxim, and thank you everyone for being here. I can see Dustin here, so hi Dustin, nice to see you. I don't see you, Ramiron, yet, but maybe is somewhere in the group. So maybe Andrew, you can check if he's there. Otherwise, we will. Anyway, we will start. First of all, I have a message from one of the speakers. Today we were going to be 4 speakers. One of them had to cancel. Unfortunately, he had to organize a visit, an urgent visit for his young daughter to a pediatrician. So he was very sorry, but was not able to attend. And the speaker is Christopher Muscato, a good friend of ours. And he was due to speak in general about SolarPunk. And I will make a very short introduction about what SolarPunk is. And but before doing that, I want to also bring a message from him. And he said he's very sorry about not being here. And he is offering a full workshop about SolarPunk writing. So if any of you is interested about starting to write SolarPunk, we can organize a workshop. And Christopher is an incredibly good writer. I really love his SolarPunk novels. And maybe I will share some of them in our common chat later on. Anyway, just get in touch with me. And if there is interesting from the community, soon we will organize this workshop about SolarPunk writing. And so I will say a few words about SolarPunk in general. And SolarPunk is a very new things because it was defined only in 2008, so something like 17 years ago, and from an article on a newsletter called The Republic of Bees, that the article introduced the concept of SolarPunk. And SolarPunk, as for the definition of Wikipedia, is a literally an artistic movement that envision and work toward actualizing a sustainable future interconnected with nature and community. So basically, you imagine a positive future where technology really help us to build a sustainable society, and this is SolarPunk. So SolarPunk is it's very well. First of all, there are 2 components in SolarPunk that we need to understand. One is solar, and the reference is to solar energy, to renewable energy, but also to positivity, because SolarPunk is an optimistic vision of the future. SolarPunk is refusing the dystopia, so negative future. We always think about positive things. and the sun is a symbol of positivity. And the other part that is important to understand about the concept is the punk side of it. And the punk side is because SolarPunk is all about counterculture, post-capitalistic vision of the future, a decolonized future, but also do it yourself. So all these are very important part of the punk side, and also I must say rebelling to central authority. And so in the SolarPunk genre, this is very strong. Let communities self-organize and doing beautiful things. So this as for this concept of SolarPunk, and you have to understand that is very new. As I was saying, it's only 17 years that has been defined, and also it's a decentralized genre, so there are not very clear definition about it. A lot of discussion about that, but there is a lot of room for experimentation. So basically, you can be the SolarPunk you want, and that's in general about SolarPunk. But instead of talking a lot about theory, I invite Andrew to share a short video about SolarPunk that will give you a right idea of what I'm talking about. So Andrew, if you want to share it, maybe now is the right time. Thank you, Andrew. The sharing really worked well, and I hope that everyone enjoyed this short video. And this is I think that it really summarized the idea of SolarPunk. So a sustainable society, happy people, healthy food for everybody, and a community staying together, working the land, and building a beautiful and sustainable future for everyone. That's SolarPunk. And I would pass the mic to Dustin. No, actually to Yura, if Yura reached us. Yura, are you here? So Yura Miron is an artist from Kiev, a SolarPunk artist actually, that we invited in the workshop. Maybe meanwhile we wait for him, and I will ping him again. We can leave the mic to Dustin. And now Dustin will tell us also why he's jumping. Dustin, is all yours.
Thank you, Guido. I hope you hear me loud and clear, because I'm talking without a headset like Guido. I'm not on a boat. If you people think that I'm a boat, but my daughter is sleeping at my belly. So my 6 months old daughter. So I hope we don't witness the wet of Murphy, that she will wake up all of a sudden. But I already said it to Guido, and Guido said, "No worries, that's very SolarPunk." So and I have prepared very well. I have mother milk here, if she would wake up, we'll fix it. So perhaps I'll explain a little bit about or introduce myself. I'm a Belgian SolarPunk artist, and I know Guido for quite a long time. We've been involved in many SolarPunk adventures till now. Before I dubbed or labeled my work as SolarPunk, I already was involved in environmentalism, activism, and I've made since, I don't know, 15 years or even longer, futuristic work, always with a focus on sustainability, ecology. In the perhaps last 7 years, I focused on the narrative of the SolarPunk that Guido already introduced. My focus as an artist is mainly on the urban habitat. That's because I think we all agree that we live with quite a lot of people and we have sprawled all over the planet. And on each place where we live, yeah, we have a very large impact on nature. And I believe that in order to organize us with a lesser impact, we could organize in cities, but our cities, and that could be happen very efficiently, but those cities obviously need to be more green, more sustainable. It should be a place where you actually want to live. That doesn't mean that there will be no space for eco-villages, obviously not, because agriculture still will happen, in my opinion, in the future as well on the countryside. And so it's logical that there will be plenty of eco-villages that will focus on permaculture as well. But so to introduce a little bit what SolarPunk could be for perhaps Ukraine in the future, I have chosen one of my illustrations, which I will share. And this time I focused more on the countryside and on eco-villages and on farming. So I've heard that there are many permaculturists and people from the region movement who want to regenerate the broken soil of industrial agriculture. Perhaps this will align in with those people interested in these things. So let me share my screen and show, okay, a picture. Okay, computer asks me to give permission. Okay. Zoom. Okay. Fill in my password to get in and give Zoom apparently permission. Okay, I hope this works now. Not sure. Yes. Oh. Okay, can everybody see my screen now and see the illustration?
Yes, it's working.
Okay, so this is an illustration that I've made of the countryside. It's focused on Belgium. And what you're seeing here is in the little left corner and the upper corner, you see the city, and this is the countryside. So I've once made this illustration to bring a new narrative for farming and agriculture in Flanders, the Dutch-speaking part of Belgium where I live, which is very a patchwork of villages and roads and large industrial agriculture. And I think that the people from Ukraine know as well that Ukraine will probably have much more and larger industrial agriculture. So it could be interesting for you guys as well. But when I was developing this illustration, I was inspired by a Balinese agricultural system. And in Bali, they used rice paddies and those terraced rice platforms. But the interesting thing is that they have developed an entire water irrigation system, which is in line with nature, which is a very key aspect of SolarPunk. And what is interesting, this is a system that is very ancient and is still still being used today. And I think every region, Belgium, Ukraine, everywhere has this ancient knowledge on how to maintain the land and use irrigation in a more sustainable way. But in the recent decades, industrial agriculture has completely destroyed that and depletes our water, which is important to do agriculture. So what you see is the city is in the left corner, and the land that is adjacent to the city is now being used to rewild, which is in the right upper corner. You see these where my mouse is moving over. This is forests, so we are doing reforestation, and these are agricultural fields. And you see this has a much more permaculture look with small patches of land, different crops being used. You don't see the large cornfields of kilometers long cornfields where they need helicopters to work on it, or large industrial machines. So permaculture practices have been used here. But to come back to this Balinese agricultural system, which I have used in this case as an inspiration. So they there acknowledge that if we start with the water cycle, that water comes out of the air at a certain moment. And in the case of Southeast Asia, that's with the typical muson rains. And they acknowledge that the forest is very important, which we in Europe obviously forgot. We clear-cutted all the forests in Europe, but it starts with the forests that are part of not only the ecosystem, but also the hydrological system. They let the water infiltrate gently, the water table fills, and at a certain point within the forests, small sources pop up out of the Earth's crust, and small natural creeks start to flow. In Bali, they also alter the water flows by creating canals, but it's always with respect for nature. And they use these canals to irrigate their paddy fields, so their rice fields. And they also use dams and tools to change the direction of the water. But the way they're doing it is they focus on the cycles of nature. For instance, when certain plants in the spring come up, or the colors of the plants change from a pale green to a more darker green, they have a calendar, and they look at all these natural signs to decide, now can we provide water for rice paddies, or now we can't. And the way how they have done it is they have some sort of water priests who have temples. It's also a little bit intertwined with religion, but they use the religion to mythological stories to bring over this natural knowledge, which is sometimes more difficult in textbooks. So all the people who work in these systems know these stories, which are full with interesting acknowledgements and info about their specific natural ecosystem and how to maintain these water flows. Once they irrigate the land, they fill it, the rice paddies are filled, and as people who went to Southeast Asia know, and the paddies are full of fish and there are birds coming, so they use nature as well to try to block pest animals, which we use pesticides and herbicides for. They don't, because they also know that it's the same water that they will drink. So why would you need to have water facilities that get all the pollution out of the water if you can not pollute the water in the first place? And because the same water at the end point comes into their villages, which are typically in the valley, and they can still, with perhaps minimal of processing the water, they can use it as potable, drinkable water. And the landscape is a wet landscape. It's like a sponge. So there's a constant balance in the water system in their landscape, which in Europe and almost all countries in Europe isn't anymore. Every industrial farmer uses water as if it's their own and their only privilege to use it. and they don't take into account that they take the water balance out of balance by depleting it. And this kind of knowledge, when I tell the stories, we don't need to go to Bali and copy paste this Balinese system because we live in another region here. But this ancient knowledge is present in France and in the UK and Ukraine and every country. And farmers used to do this. And here I tried to merge it with the rather new permaculture movements who are in line with this type of thoughts. And you see that there are all kinds of blue lines in the drawing. Well, these represent these canals, and have drawn where my mouse is moving over small pavilions. There's one here, there's one over here, there's one here. Well, these are the places where farmers, ecologists, residents, people of the logistical chain of the food that they produce here on the fields gather together with academics to decide can we irrigate or not. So it's a community of people with different backgrounds who try to manage the land here. And these houses that you can see could be part of an eco-village. And what you see here is this rectangular box-like building. It's a school. So I always think that SolarPunk at any time is a school as well, because we need new schools as well. Our schools are always linked to the system that we're in. So that everybody knows that in schools they teach the history of the one who conquered, and in schools they teach the things that they want you to do later in your profession. But as far as I know, at least not in Belgium, they don't teach people about permaculture. They don't teach our kids about permaculture or about regenerative farming or about sustainability. They teach the things that they want you to become, which is obviously mostly jobs that are meant to maintain the status quo in our industrial era. So this is a school where people could go to, be part of the community, work in this new agricultural model, and learn about how nature and agriculture could merge, because this is a learning process. We don't have, even the permaculturists or other people with experience don't have all the knowledge yet. It's new for everybody. So we constantly need to learn, and every situation is different. And we should establish schools. And I know that these initiatives already exist. And I think in a SolarPunk future, it's about connecting the dots. So existing initiatives in Ukraine, connecting them with Italy, with France, with Belgium, people who are already busy with this kind of things, and create a network because the networks is about resiliency, and resilience is very important to have counterpower against authoritarian regimes and people who want to destroy what autonomy of the people. What you see is also, it shows a wetland, because Flanders, Belgium originally was a wetland before we got all the water out of it and conquered the land and built villages everywhere that are now constantly getting flooded. And people ask themselves why? Well, because it was originally a wetland and you didn't belong there in the first place. And what you see is we give land back to nature as well, because I think any SolarPunk future is a future where human beings don't see themselves as the center of the universe, but see themselves among other species who also live on this planet and who also have a house here. And it's even more important, like a tree doesn't have legs to walk away. So we need to nourish this. We need to have respect, much more respect. And here you can see that we give land back to nature, land where we actually don't even intervene anymore. And you see it's blue everywhere, so it's very back to a wet landscape, orchids, all kinds of rotational crops that we are growing here. And there's a little bit, because I saw the video of Guido was very high tech. So it's a mixture of, I think, low tech and high tech. You see there are, there are electric rails here. So imagine that today, this landscape would be a landscape full of roads with cars driving on it. Well, here it isn't. There's only a connection between the larger cities where people live, and you have to imagine cities not like the cities we are living in today, but green cities where people actually want to live. And the moment they get out of the city, they can get in agricultural regions, which will look more natural than the nature that we have today, and actually also vast wilderness. So this is a little bit the idea of a SolarPunk future. And we get rid of all the urban infrastructure and have small eco villages that are equipped to deal with more rural conditions. What's to see? You see a lot of animals as well, birds and stuff. So this is like the Balinese subak model, all intertwined with each other. So animals and all kinds of birds feel very happy to live on these agricultural fields as well, which is in line with permacultural thinking as well. Perhaps one more little detail, the river is meandering back. I don't know how it is in Ukraine, but in Belgium, we straightened all our rivers. So for pure economical reasons to get very fast from A to B. But here we have meandered our rivers again, and this is supposed to be a small sailboat. So this is again a mixture of high tech, low tech. We try to get our carbon footprint as low as possible. So this is about it. I hope this illustration was clear and that I explained it well enough. But I think this illustration showcases some of the very important SolarPunk aspects that I like to envision in any of my arts. So thank you, Guido. I give back the word to you now. So Guido, or I don't know who. Yeah.
Yeah, can you please stop sharing?
Okay, I'll stop share my screen. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dustin. Always very inspiring hearing your words and seeing your heart. And I invite everybody to look at the account, social account, especially Instagram of Dustin Jacobus, because he's always been a huge inspiration for me and for many people in the SolarPunk movement. And Andrew, we have Yuramiron with us or not yet? Can you see him?
I can't see him.
Okay, so maybe he has got some issues, and I think we can. I can do my part. I can talk about SolarPunk nomadism and what we are doing between SolarPunk nomads and Gen Ukraine. And if Yura reaches, I will give him the last slot for speech. So, what is SolarPunk nomadism? And the meaning of this workshop was for us to meet a larger community of Gen Ukraine and give more clarity about SolarPunk. But I'm sure that some of you is asking about what are SolarPunk nomads, and I'll tell you just now. SolarPunk nomadism is something that the two co-founders of the project, myself and Marco, that is also my son, has a vision that we had about 4 years ago, even if we started to talk about that 3 years ago. And it's about a nomadic lifestyle, a low carbon, so zero carbon nomadic lifestyle for change maker. So we imagine a future where change makers, so people who want to change the world, they will travel the world with zero carbon vehicle or vessel. Imagine a sailboat using the wind or electric car charged by solar energy. And they move around and help local community to be more climate change resilient. And this is what we have been building for 3 years. And what we are doing with Ukraine is a little example of the possibility of this SolarPunk nomadism. So visiting other countries, helping other community to build resilience. And this is our DNA. It's a very new project, and but the three most important parts of our vision are the SolarPunk nomads. So like me or my son, that we try to travel and to help local community to build resilience. And then there are SolarPunk hubs that are places where we experiment with regeneration agriculture with SolarPunk tech. We try to build the SolarPunk vision in reality. And we are developing now actually, I'm speaking from the first SolarPunk hub that is here in Italy, but we will develop soon one in Uganda, and I hope maybe one in Ukraine. And then the third part of our vision are the SolarPunk safe places, that this was something that we start to build in a few years. And this will come after the community of nomadic changemaker will be manifested. So when we will have a good number of people choosing to have this nomadic lifestyle to help local community, then we will have the need also to build places for the community. But this is a long-term project. So why we are working with Ukraine and with Gen Ukraine? First of all, it's much by chance. I met Maxime during a GitCon round about a year ago. And since we were very, I say, solidal with Ukraine, and I have also other Ukrainian friends, it was natural for us to try to understand how we could help the group, the group of Gen Ukraine. So I started to discuss with Maxime, and we ended up, to make the long story short, with a night mission in beginning of November. So we visit Lviv, and we met some beautiful people of your community. We brought some help, not much, but what we're able to bring with our car, some solar panel and batteries and tire for bikes. So what's our small contribution to your community? And the goal was to see the logistic of transporting aid material to Ukraine that we understood, and also to meet the community. And after we meet the community, we saw that our intuition was right. And we see a big future for SolarPunk in Ukraine. And I think that Ukraine is the right place where to develop a SolarPunk project, because people of Ukraine are definitely resilient, and you are showing it every day, and very smart and very tech-oriented, and you are showing it every day. Just yesterday, I read that there is now mail delivery system using drone to the front line. It was just crazy for me, but very SolarPunk, not the work side, but using the creative use of drones. And so I think that Ukraine is a great place where to develop a SolarPunk project. And probably Gen Ukraine is the best organization for us to connect with, because it's absolutely well positioned to play a very important role in the future, SolarPunk future of Ukraine. My vision, or our vision, is that very soon the war will end, and there will be the need of building a new country, rebuilding a lot of things, and also finding new ways to build societies. And we think that Gen Ukraine is fantastically positioned to play this major role. That is, your 50 eco village can really become a 50 example of SolarPunk communities. Imagine using tech. You're already doing that without knowing that is somehow SolarPunk, but imagine that all these community would be totally powered by solar energy or renewable energy. Imagine that you will be very sustainable. You will grow your food with regenerative agriculture, and you will use your creativities to build a better lifestyle for your community. And that's very SolarPunk. And we think that once there will be a lot of funds available for rebuilding, Gen Ukraine could be a good example of how to build this kind of community. And I want also to share with everybody what we are doing up to now. So after the small mission we did in Lviv in November, we started to talk with your group, and we ended up in doing one meeting every week. So every Monday afternoon at 5 o'clock Central European time, we meet with the community. We've been doing that for about 3 months, and I'm very happy of this meeting because a lot of your community is active, and invite also other people that are not joining the meeting to join. And this is an open call, normally lasts 1 hour, and we try to meet the community, to understand the community needs, and to see where we can help. And it's been a pleasure for me to lead these groups on Monday afternoon. And this will still be a central part of our activities. So we are feeling that is a service to your community to do this Monday meeting. Then we've been helping you a little bit with networking. My personal opinion that you're doing amazing things and you're not networking enough. So I think that once you will be able to show to more people about the amazing project you're doing, you will receive a lot of more support. And so we are doing what we can to help you in networking. And another things we are doing, we're starting to do fundraising together. So, and since today, actually, we are doing a weekly meeting focused on fundraising with Andrew, that is doing a great job in that. And we presented the first grant together last week. And then we are, let's say that a couple of projects we are already focusing on are one is about microclimate farms. That is the core of the grant that we presented last week. That is about a new kind of micro farm that is really focused on building resilience to climate change, and doing that not only for the humans, for the human community there, but also for biodiversity and for the animals. So imagine like it's a very small farm that thinks about the future, build up climate change resilience using creativity, low tech, open source, like a very SolarPunk approach. But it does that not only for the humans, but also for the animals. This is something we are experimenting here at the SolarPunk Hub in Italy, but it will be the core of many of the activities we want to do with Gen Ukraine. And then the second project is about micro SolarPunk libraries, all micro, so all small project. But the idea there is that we want to provide little libraries about SolarPunk to your eco-villages. And why is that? Because we think SolarPunk is a very positive vision of the future, and you probably is something that you really need. And then it can really, the SolarPunk ideas can meet very fertile minds in your eco-village. But let's say that building up this micro library can help you to enlarge your vision and to network with many ideas and authors. And on this project, Christopher Muscato, that was the speaker that was not able to attend, told me already that he will help us networking with some editors about SolarPunk fiction. And so we will provide some of the books for this micro library. And these are just two of the projects we are working on. There is also a small project about a mobile lab that coming from Kharkiv, from Boris. But we are open to discuss and to embrace your ideas about things we can do together. We are a very small organization. We are not big. We are much smaller than you, and but we try to help, and we try to use our network to help your group. And basically, this is my presentation. And let's see if Yura Miron arrived. Otherwise, we will open the mic to question from the community.
Yeah, I see that we're still missing Yura. I hope he's okay. And we can open our Q&A session. So I invite everybody who has a question for Guido or Dustin to write them in the chat. I will read them.
Андрій, може, можна з піднятою рукою озвучувати, бо це може бути довго.
Можна спробувати, я хвилююсь за переклад. Давайте спробуємо.
Паша чудово перекладає, ми дякуємо.
Любодар?
Yes, I've already written that in chat. Guido, please tell us a little bit more about your own farm. As I know, you have your own family micro farm. It's very interesting to get to know a little bit more. Thank you.
Yes, I can tell you more about the SolarPunk Hub. It's not really our own family farm. It's a project that we are renting. It's a land that we are renting from a friend. We may buy it in future, but at the moment we're using it for the SolarPunk Hub, and we are slowly developing a community of people using it. So we are I'm farming the big veggie garden, but now we have also 3 volunteers, young and mid-20s, that we gave them a part of the land to farm, and they are coming 2-3 times a week, and we experiment together about regenerative farming, and I teach them what I know and some of the things we experiment together. So the idea of this hub, of this farm, is really to find ways to share the land with animals and with biodiversity. And so, for example, the land is 1.5 hectares. It's not very big, but we decided to farm only, it's 1.5 hectare, and about half an hectare is farmland. The other part is forest. And we are trying to use only a small part of it for our needs, for cultivating veggies, and we leave the other part wild for the animals. And we are finding ways to collaborate with animals and to share this kind of land. Let me show you around. So meanwhile, I stop my dog to escape. I mute myself because I have to shout to my dog. Let's see if I can do that. I have an escapist dog. Anyway, this is the part that you can see our veggie garden. The part that we are farming is about 1,000 square meters, and there is an electric fence around. You can see there you can see my escapist dog. And up to now, even if the wild boar are really using the land and destroying somehow the land, since we started this electric fence, we didn't have any entry in the site. So it seems it's a good way to co-use the land. Here you see the part that I'm farming. And here you see the part of the other volunteers. And as I was saying before, we are producing a lot of compost. These are two hot compost piles, leaves. These are bramble root. And sorry, let me show you around. These are wood chips we use for compost making. This is a slow compost, so it will take about a year to have this compost. Here, these are the trees we collect from the forest, not from the forest, actually, from the land here. We don't go inside the forest, we collect the leaves. And here are the two hot compost piles. There you see a lot of wood that we had the windstorm last year. And so we had a lot of trees fall down. And if you can see, we are regenerating the land. These are all brambles. This area was totally covered by brambles, and the little vineyard is now breathing and coming back. And very soon we will cover this land with cover crops and other veggies. And I want to show you the kind of damages that, but not damages, another kind of land use. These are how the wild boar use the land. Let me show you. So you see all this area is used by wild boar. And we don't mind about that actually, because this area, it's very important for them. We have about 20 wild boar that visit regularly the area, and we don't feel like cutting them out. So we're just trying to find ways to co-live, to share the land. And then we have a little greenhouse for seedlings. We are trying to find heirloom varieties. And one of the idea of microclimate farm is developing heirloom varieties that are resilient to climate extreme here. And basically that's our little farm. Is that answering your question, Lubodar?
Yes, even more. Thank you very much. I liked. Hope everyone likes too.
Okay. We have 3 more questions. So there was one, but it disappeared somewhere. I hope it won't be like really very technical, but the question was if you have any Web3 based social networks in your organization or connected to it.
So I imagine the question is for me again, and our organization called SolarPunk Nomads have been fundraising only using Web3 since 3 years ago. So we have a good social capital in the Web3 space. And so, yes, we are quite connected to Web3, to other Web3 projects. And we'll try to leverage this connection also to your group. And then we're trying to signal grants opportunity to Gen Ukraine. And something that I was discussing with Maxime is that we will be fantastic to have to do some training workshop, maybe once a month, about Web3, because we think Gen Ukraine can really leverage Web3 funding and Web3 technology in general, but we need to develop a Web3 culture inside your group. And we are available to do our best to do that. I'm personally not really a Web3 native, probably because of my age, but my son is more Web3 than me. And we have a lot of friends that can help on that.
Thank you. So the next question would be, now you will be able to see how Ukrainian can make questions and to put a lot of other stuff there. So I thank you for this workshop. It's very interesting and there are a lot of dreams inside. So I want to point out that our community, Happy People, is very inspired with like meeting you, and it was a surprise to see this workshop we want to build on your website, on one of the pictures from your website. And microfarms are also very inspiring. So the question would be, um, do you have a positive experience of using mobile workshops, like workshops and shops, these small shops on a bicycles, electro bicycles in other countries in the world?
Not yet, not mobile workshop. And a very important part of our project is about mobility. So SolarPunk nomads, to be nomads, they need means of transport. So one of the sector that it's really interesting for us is to imagine and develop a prototype of SolarPunk vehicles. And we played with the concept of an electric tuk-tuk used for like a mini camper in India with our friends from Atlantis. And we played with bikes, and we did an expedition bike, an electric bike with a trailer that went from Milan to Belgium 2 years ago. We developed another bike we use for foraging here in the Alps, and we help our friend and colleague Pius to develop a bike made of bamboo with solar panel in Uganda, but not yet the workshop. But I can see that basically if you want to do a light, if you want to have a light approach, an e-bike with a trailer will be where to start, because you can pull a good amount of weight with a strong electric bike, maybe using a cargo bike. Otherwise, you can go the way to we did in India with an electric tuk-tuk. And it really depends on your country and your ability to develop things by yourself. Because, for example, it depends on how strict will be the local government in what you develop and use on the road. In Italy, it would be totally impossible to do an electric tuk-tuk or a mobile workshop by yourself. You have to buy something that is existing and changing on the inside. But maybe in Ukraine, it will be more feasible to go through a do-it-yourself process. So if that's the case, I'm sure that you have the resources to develop by yourself. And this will be also very interesting. A very important part, a very important subject I want to share, that is everything we develop is open source. So what you will develop with your mobile workshop, I advise you to make it open source, so other people will be inspired and maybe they will build a similar one in another country, in another project. So I hope this will answer your question.
Thank you. Thank you. So the next question would be, the main idea of SolarPunk's movement is for living in balance with nature and to care about nature, or it's more about growing clean organic food for yourself and people in the cities?
I will leave Dustin to answer this one, that is more experienced than me in SolarPunk.
Okay, if Dustin is ready.
Well, Guido, my kid is awake now, so so what was the question? If SolarPunk is more focused on
Yes, it's like to live in harmony with nature and to care about it, or it's more about growing clean organic foods for yourself and for people in cities?
I think a simple question, both. I think it's about creating organic, good food for all of us in harmony with nature. So I don't think the focus is more on the first or the latter. It's both. And as far as I know the SolarPunk movement, it's about creating healthy organic agricultural systems in the countryside, where there's more place for nature, like large forest or swamps or wetlands, by rewilding efforts by environmentalists and ecologists. And in the cities, it's about an approach to regreen the cities as far as it's possible, parks, and even do small parts of rewilding inside the city, and having an additional source of food in cities with urban agricultural practices like urban permaculture. So I think both will be needed, definitely.
Thank you. So have a last question. Oh, not the last. Okay, how do you see people making money living on the land? Will it be mainly physical labor or mental labor? What ideas do you have about this?
Maybe I can answer this one. And well, my idea, if you talk about people living on the land, is that agriculture can be done in a new way. And I see that many people living on the land, if they are good storytellers, they make more money storytelling than selling their veggies. So I see that whenever you live on the land and you are a micro farmer, this will reduce your needs of financial means because it's covering a lot of your expenses and it's giving you good organic food. And if you can pair this one with showing what you're doing, either if you feel like being an online influencer, I'm not very interested, but some people are, and they're pretty good on that. And but also you can make maybe money in another ways without selling the goods you provide, like with training. So training and sharing what you're doing is a great way to make some money. And also in Italy, for example, a good way, it's not only training, but also hosting people, like having Airbnb and a small room for people that will visit you. And all these kind of activities can make you more money than selling your veggies. And I think that something that everybody need to learn first is how to communicate, how to tell the stories. What really surprised me is that in Gen Ukraine, there is such a big resource of stories and people doing amazing things. But I don't want to be critic, but I think you can do a better job in communicating. Each of you can have really benefit from communicate more what you're doing, because probably you're doing it every day, doesn't look very exceptional, but from me seeing it outside, I know that what you are doing is exceptional and has a very, very high potential. And so to answer your question, I think a little farm can have more not from the physical labor but from mental work, so from connecting with people, telling stories, hosting a training session, or inventing ways maybe to sell high-end product. So you don't really need to sell carrots to the market to make money. Maybe you sell a very special spice mixture that you do only in your place, and you build a story about that. You build the community, international community around that, and then these people will want to buy your spice because they will support your job. So I'm following many people doing fantastic things in agriculture, and I see many of them having success in telling stories of what they are doing, and some others that are doing good money in influencing, like influencer, or in training. And so definitely you will earn more money, not from the physical work, but from the mental work. And I would say the connection. So, and I'll be available to help you a bit on that. I know a little bit about communication, so in case there is interested, we can make a special workshop or even an informal one talking about communication, storytelling, and maybe I can invite somebody that is more experienced than me. I hope this answers your question.
Oh, thank you. I think, on my opinion, it was deep and inspiring. Thank you. So, and we have a last question for now. So, in your opinion, what is the difference between SolarPunk movement and Eco-Village movement in Europe, which exists for the last 50 years?
I don't know. Dustin, you want to go for it or I go for it?
Well, Guido, I think eco-village movement, the word already defines itself. It's the focus is more on villages, while I think SolarPunk is a little bit broader and has always envisioned a positive, sustainable future, depending on the region where you live. In some areas, that's very industrial, and there's less focus on villages. And like I said, I've always focused on the city. And while the eco villages, I assume, are more focusing on smaller villages that have a relationship with the surrounding nature and doing sustainable agriculture, is a SolarPunk narrative actually focused on all kinds of narratives that all mix together and form the larger whole of SolarPunk. And these can be very dystopian futures where there are authoritarian leaders or where there are wars, but still, that doesn't mean that we can what will become next. So if you start from there, then you start from a destructed, destroyed environment. But this can be SolarPunk as well. If you live in New York City or in a large city in Paris, which is very industrial, that's another context than an eco-village. But that doesn't mean that you can envision a brighter, sustainable future where there's even a possibility to have additional local food production, where you can create new housing models, cooperative housing models, where you can envision new models of land trusts, where you can envision new models of transportation. So I think it's, in my opinion, SolarPunk is much more broader, but it always goes to how can we rethink our futures and moving away towards a post-industrial, post-capitalist society where communities stand central and where people reclaim the power about their food chains, about their logistical chains, about the way how we produce stuff. And I think eco-villages are part of it. So I would think it's broader than the eco-villages movements.
Thank you.
And I agree with Dustin. I want to add a couple of things that, in my opinion, a very important part of SolarPunk is the use of tech, so innovative tech, and that is not really a key part of the eco-village movement. And also, we have to remember that SolarPunk is mainly literally and artistic genre. So it's just now that you start to have a project that are inspired by SolarPunk and they want to build SolarPunk. Before that was, and it's still mainly a genre. So it's an artistic genre. You have fantastic visual artists. You have a lot of writers. So there are some very good books on SolarPunk, but it's just beginning now, I think, to manifest in the real life. And you have projects that are really inspired by SolarPunk vision and they want to build it now. And our project is an example. We started to envision this SolarPunk future, specifically focus on nomadism. And then since we are very practical people, we wanted to build it. And we started to build vehicles and now land-based placed. But still, SolarPunk lives in the artistic side, most of it for the time being.
Thank you. So the next question would be, I don't really sure to whom it was addressed, but I will read it the way it is. How to contact you personally? Do you have a social network? And how to join your organization meetings?
I think this is question is for Dustin because he's totally irresistible with his baby.
Is the question addressed to you, Guido?
I think to you. How do contact you personally?
If it's addressed to me, well, very simple. On my website, you have a contact form, and my email link is on it, and on my social medias as well. I'm very easy to contact on my Instagram account, which is easy to remember as well. It's SolarPunk Art. So you'll find me if you, I would say, Google it. If you seek it in Instagram, you'll find it. And I check my Instagram account on a daily basis. So, and I usually respond quite fast when people ask me questions. So.
And if you want to instead to contact SolarPunk Nomads, we have a website. It's solarpunknomad.xyz, and there is an email, a contact form. You write there, or you can even DM me on Twitter. It's Airbase Soul, or DM me on Telegram. You join the group of that we have. We have a shared group between SolarPunk Nomads and Gen Ukraine. Maybe Andrew, you can share it in the chat, the group. Just join the group and DM me. I'm very open as Dustin, and I always reply within 1 or 2 days. So very easy to contact both of us.
Okay, then it's a deal. We're going to share all the contact information after the meeting. So there is one more question. Are you familiar with other similar movements and initiatives that promote relocating to the land and living in harmony with nature? And are you familiar with their principles?
I think once again, Dustin is better than me in answering this one.
I can't really, I don't know real organizations who are focusing on this particular things. I think so. I'm not. I can't answer it directly.
Sorry, I thought you were, because I have no idea too. So I know about the eco-village movement, and I know that there are a lot of activities that goes around farm. There is a micro farm movement going strong in Italy, but I think that to find people that are relocating to the land, you have to follow somehow the sub-channel of agriculture, so regenerative agriculture, permaculture, and agroforestry. All these subgroup of regenerative agriculture can lead you to a network of people that are working on going back to the land. And yeah, I don't think there is another channel outside the eco-village network, Gen. Most of eco-village are affiliated to Gen. And a way to find interesting people is also going to network of volunteers, like how is that called? There is a network that you can go and be a volunteer, and you work for a few hours a day, and they give you food and place where to sleep. in many farms in the world. This kind of network can help you to find maybe project to visit with enlightened people that have great ideas and can teach you. I can't remember the name at the moment. Is I don't know. I will share with the chat. But also work away if you want to connect with people that are doing interesting projects internationally. Check work away. And
GBN?
What's that?
Global GBN, Global Volunteers Network, no? Or Erasmus?
No, not this one. There is one specific for farmers, for woofer. I think woofer it's called, the woofer movement. And you can go to a farm and you are a woofer and you stay there for 1, 2 weeks, 1 month. They will give you food and accommodation in exchange of 4 or 5 hours of work a day. Woofer.
Nice.
Yeah, woof. I see also see it in the chat.
Yeah, we worked with woofers before the war.
Mm. And I see a message from Nata. I'm a Gen member, also building a permaculture farm in Italy. Fantastic. Please connect. Send me a message on Telegram and we'll have a chat, because we love to connect with more people, and you have great connection. So I'm eager to talk with you.
Okay, are we ready for the next question?
I wanted to say something about this. I think within SolarPunk community is very important. And I always said that we can have many communities, but it's important to create networks. I think the strength in the future of people will lay in a networked communities. So this shows that there's still work on the table, because even this simple question, as well, Guido as myself, don't know many groups in Europe working on this. So this will be important in the future, I think, to create resiliency.
Nice. Okay, next question would be, what was the first impulse? So what inspired you to create SolarPunk movement?
Well, probably means SolarPunk Nomads movement.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's an embarrassing question, but we'll go for it, because at the moment, when we started to think about SolarPunk Nomads, we didn't call it SolarPunk. And I have to confess my sins that I was traveling with my son in Europe, and we have an expedition car. Some of you have seen it. It's the Land Rover, is a diesel, so it's not an electric car. And so we were traveling. That was about 4 years ago, around Europe, to document climate change, causes and solution to climate change. We were doing some videos for YouTube and some content for Instagram. And traveling in Europe with a big diesel car, we started to think about possibilities. And at that days, they were presenting the Cybertruck. Yeah, Elon Musk, Cybertruck. So at the moment, I confess that we were excited about the idea of having a four-wheel drive vehicle, an off-road vehicle that was electric, that was very innovative. And we need a four-wheel drive and off-road vehicles, because sometimes when we do our trip, we go in off-road in places that are far. So we started to dream about that. And that was the beginning of SolarPunk nomadism. But at the beginning, we call it cyber nomadism because of Cybertruck. Then a few months after that, brainstorming, we started to go deep into SolarPunk, and we said, no, that's the right name is SolarPunk nomadism. And so we presented the project. That was 3 years ago, actually in a Gitcoin grant. I think was GG19, something like that. And we presented the idea with just a small drawing of Marco of a van with solar panel with a satellite antenna. And this is how SolarPunk Nomadism was born. So from a need of an vision of traveling with the zero carbon vehicle, and inspired by the Cybertruck. So my sin is that Elon Musk inspired me on that. Sorry for that. Don't please don't record this. Maybe erase this from the recording.
It's too late for that. Elon Musk already has a copy. Okay, so I don't see. Okay, there is one more question, and we have. Okay, I think we have still time for one more question, and then we will move to the big thank you. So before SolarPunk Nomads, as far as I understand, you lived in a city. So how long ago you moved on the land, and what is your like main job, main profession? So if you understand the question.
Yes. I don't live in a city. I live in a small town. This land I showed, the SolarPunk Hub, is not the place where I live. It's a place in the middle of a protected forest. And I move here in the morning and I spend the day here. I use it as an office, also as a farm. But I'm not living here, unfortunately. I live in a small town. And before that, and my profession, and let's say I'm a biologist, I'm a conservation biologist. I've been working for many years in Africa doing animal counts, so wildlife census of large mammals. So I'm an expert in radio tracking and aerial counts. So if you need to count elephants in a large area, this is my specialty. And after that, I had many experience both in the profit and non-profit world. I had I did some work in marketing because I'm good at that. And so in and out of the profit and non-profit world. Up to a few years ago when I started to work with my son, and professionally now I'm working as a strategic consultant when I don't work with my project. And maybe Dustin live in a city or in a small town as well. Dustin.
I moved out of the city.
Bravo.
I used to live in the city, but I moved out. So I now live in a more rural area, very close to nature. Thank God. It was a good
Very
move.
good. Well done.
And you're like a professional artist, right?
Yes, I do work, so it's part-time. So half of my time I do this professional solarpunk and futurism art and many commissions. And another part of my time I'm an educator, but I'm specialized in drinking water. So I give courses about drinking water production, drinking water conservancy, conservation, drinking water distribution, drinking water techniques. So that's another part of my professional life.
And you're also an industrial designer, isn't it?
That's my background study, yes, industrial design.
Wow. So I think we have 4 more minutes, and it is time to say a big thank you. For me personally, it was like first meeting for a long time when I was totally focused on what you were talking about. So it was really interesting. Thank you for your time, and I believe, and I think it will happen, that it will bring us to a lot of mutual projects in the future. So if you want to say something for a closing, it's a right time for that.
Dustin, you have any final words?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, and I hope it inspired you, and I hope you can soon, like Guido already started, rebuild your country with great sustainable agricultural eco villages and sustainable cities. So that's all I can hope for, and I can hope that SolarPunk will bring a brighter future for everybody in the entire world. It's needed.
And I would say also thank you to all the community. A big thank you to Andrew to organizing this. It was very efficient as usual, and it was a pleasure for me to meet the community. And a couple of things. Please get in touch. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. Just DM me any idea, any requests. I'm always very open, and I try to help Gen Ukraine as much as possible. And I want to close this with a wish. I hope really to meet you in person. I met already some of you in person, but I would like to meet all the community, and maybe I will try to bring Dustin with me. So you will meet the legend Dustin Jacobus of SolarPunk. I'll try to bring him to Ukraine one day.
Thank you. And there is one more comment, and I think it's nice. So it is, thank you. I feel like we already started something really important together.
Yeah, I agree. And I can't wait to do more things together with you. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was nice being in the background and learning more about SolarPunk.
And we have Yura now. Maybe
Ні, він
next time.
давно приєднався. Да, він давно приєднався.
Значить, я
Це було
пропустив.
цікаво. Він
Ні,
просто
я
мовчки нам співчував.
недавно, я схоже з часом
Це
переплутав.
було дуже цікаво.
Ви закінчили, да, вже?
Так.
Просто дуже цікаво. Я дуже хочу, щоб ми продовжували. О,
Ну,
ні.
То
Все.
все почалося о 5-й, чи
О
я думав,
6-й.
що не все.
О
О
6-й. Так. О 5-й по
я так-
італійському часу.
Я зрозумів. Блін. Ну нічого, наступного разу розкажу про своє мистецтво.
Так, ми з радістю з вами послухаємо. Дякую.
Да. І
Дякую.
вам дякую, що запросили. Цікаво бачити стільки людей, яким цікаво. Sustainable future.
Так, дуже цікаво. Добре, друзі. Всього найкращого. Гарного вечора.
Да,
Let
всім
the
гарного
future be.
вечора.
Це він же забере.